Jeremy, this is a difficult issue, but it's very important. Some people say, oh, Charlie, this is kind of a leftover issue. Not really. Over 200 million people use TikTok. A lot of kids use TikTok. It is highly influential. This is not a kind of a side issue. This is a primary political policy issue that requires some deep thinking. Previously, I was always about ban TikTok, ban TikTok. I got away from that as I read the bill and realized it could be used to potentially ban Telegram and ban Rumble, and it obviously extrapolated towards the anti-speech regime. However, core to one of the anti-TikTok arguments, something that I once held, was that TikTok is turning all the kids libs, right? That was kind of the whole thing. And so, to Ryan's credit and to the whole team and Andrew, this last March, we sent out a tweet saying, hey, TikTok, you guys are scheduled to be banned. If you treat us fairly, we're going to post on there and we'll see what happens. Well, 1.8 billion views later, turns out that actually TikTok can turn people to be more conservative and more Trumpy. How should we think about this issue?
Yeah, I think it's a little tricky. I mean, actually, I live in Montana, and our Republican governor was the first with our legislature. Our governor, who's a former technology entrepreneur and understands tech, we were sort of the first to ban TikTok. And it's been interesting to kind of watch that get walked back a little bit nationally. And I understand why it's a sensitive issue. I understand why Trump has weighed in against it, because I think there's a feeling that, A, we don't necessarily want to give the government always that type of power. B, I think Trump, who's obviously very savvy about public opinion, can see that a lot of Gen Z voters are going to be very angry if we lose TikTok. At the same time, I think that the Chinese Communist Party ownership and potential misuse of Americans' data is something that we need to be concerned about. And I think realistically, we probably are going to need to engage with a little bit of brinksmanship where we get as much separation as we can between the Chinese Communist Party and Americans' data, and you continue to have TikTok in the meantime. But I think we should be able to have, if they're true national security violations, we should have the power to ban TikTok. But I think whether we use that power is a separate question. And on that, I think like President Trump, perhaps I'm a little more skeptical.
Yep. And President Trump, he actually fired, this is an incredible development. He filed a amicus brief this last weekend, or was it amicus or amicus? I can't never remember. At the Supreme Court, basically arguing that the Supreme Court should stay its decision to allow him to sort this out in his incoming term.